It's not the case at all. And then after our, when we're due to be reaccredited, we were just reaccredited last year, but we're looked at through two assessments. The first team comes in and assesses what we do. Outside police chiefs, outside police executives that have nothing to do with Jenkintown Borough comes in at the end of our period and evaluates what we did in those 3 years and how we did it. So getting accredited is not the real hard part. Staying accredited is the hard part.
Okay, gotcha.
Because after that first team of, there's 3 executives that come in and evaluate the department, and they do everything from A to Z. I remember looking out my window in my office, and I saw the team leader from the team taking the back seats of the police cars out. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. But that proved to him, if he found any kind of drug paraphernalia, any kind of weapons tucked in the seat, that's evidence that we didn't search a prisoner before we put him in the car. Okay. So they're the kind of things that they look for. Are you following all the standards? And then after that team leaves, a final team comes in, 3 different assessors that are not affiliated with me or the department. 3 different assessors come in. That's our final assessment. And they're the ones who say, we're going to take it to the commission and grant you another reaccreditation. So we're very proud of it. Very proud of our accreditation.
No, it sounds like something to be proud of. And, I didn't even put it together till I was talking to you about and listening to you, that just like the insurance accreditations got to lower the impact, the financial impact on the citizens, because the cost goes down. I know that if we let the insurance trucks get over a certain age, that it can trickle down and raise insurance rates for fire insurance in the area if we let the fire trucks get over a certain age.
When I started in this business, I might do things during my patrol time my way. You might do things your way. And the mission got accomplished, but we did it differently. With accreditation, we have a policy that we have to follow. So the officers know how to deal with things, and they follow the policy. As long as we can follow our policy and do things under color of law, then we don't have an issue with anybody.
Now, how busy is your department in a typical year?
We have our fair share of. Most of our calls are service calls. Jenkintown's a small town. We have a low crime. We enjoy a low crime rate. A lot of parking issues, but we're not exempt from burglary, theft, and of course, drugs. That's everywhere. So, we see our fair share of the bad as well as the good.
I have friends that live over there, and I had one friend that had some stuff that wasn't secured in their yard taken, and they were saying what a pleasure it was to deal with you. Even though the bad thing had happened, it was such a pleasure to deal with you. I told a couple people I know that I was interviewing you, and I got nothing but good feedback, or tell them I said hi, or what a great interview it's going to be, or I want to hear that.
That's nice to hear, because that's what we try to. That's what we want to project to our citizens, that we are approachable. We want them. People feel funny when they don't want to call the police a lot of the times. A lot of people call us the next day when they see something happening, and we try to tell them, call it. We don't mind. That's what we're there for.
Well, one of the things that I was told was the one story about you getting. I was asked to remind you of a story of you getting a little girl who had just gotten back from the dentist with a toothache that had been fixed, a milkshake, and going to get her a milkshake, and that's not going to happen anywhere.
You're right, and I do remember that. And it's the little things in a policeman's life that he remembers the most. It's the little things, like getting a milkshake for the kid, buying somebody a present. We had an officer who took a report of a lady who was robbed on the bus of somebody took all her bags of goods that she just purchased from Bed Bath & Beyond. So she got off the bus, she reported it to the police. This officer, while the one guy was taking the report, they sat her in the police station. He went to Bed Bath & Beyond with his own money and replaced everything she lost, and so she can get back on the bus and go back into Philadelphia. That's just the kind of people that we have.
And that's exactly the kind of story. That's the kind of untold story that I think people need to hear, and that's the kind of thing, because there's so much bad news, and there's bad. My father used to say different variations of the saying. Bad news is across town before good news has its pants on. And we just hear so much bad news. It's that kind of story that just gives you a little bit of hope, because that wasn't even a resident of your community, right?
No.
That was somebody traveling through your community.
And the officer never even said anything to anybody. The lady called me up, and it's not surprising because I know the officer, and it's just what he does all the time. And a lot of my guys do the same thing. But he didn't brag about it. It's just something he did. It's just something he felt he had to do.
What would you like to tell the people about your job, to educate the people, to help you do your job and to serve them better? Is there anything that
we do? Because we can't do it by ourselves. We have an aggressive patrol out on a 24-hour basis, but we also need the eyes and ears of the public. We need them to call us when they see something that everybody knows what's normal in their neighborhood. If they see something that doesn't seem to fit in the neighborhood, give us a call. We'll check it out, and we'll report back to you. So that's what we want. We want people to get involved with what we do. Just drop a line. You don't even have to give your name. If you just call us and let us check it out. We want to make sure you're safe. That's our goal.
And they're on social media also. I know you guys are on Facebook. Are you on Twitter? I think you're on.
Yeah. And then we have a website, the Jenkintown Borough website. People can report things anonymously. They don't have to give their address or their phone number or anything like that. Go right on the website, jenkintownborough.com, and they can ask us questions. They can report things that they see around town they want fixed or addressed.
It's funny because I know Jenkintown is a kind of liberal, laid-back suburb of Philadelphia that is very low-key, very hometown. It's almost like the South without the accents, very laid-back. And I heard somebody the other day, and they referred to it as something else, and I said, no, that's not it. He said, oh, Bradley Cooper's town. And I said, the town existed a few hundred years before Bradley Cooper.
Right.
That's what another generation has started to know as Bradley Cooper's hometown.
Yeah, and the Goldbergs.
Yeah, the Goldbergs. To show the Goldbergs.
Matter of fact, that's going to premiere at the Highway Theater tonight, actually, the new season.
Oh,
so the Goldbergs were Jenkintown, born and bred.
Jenkintown. What trends do you notice in your job? Good, bad, indifferent? What do you see?
Well, there's certainly been a change in the way people, some people think about law enforcement. To the negative. You see officers sitting in their patrol cars getting ambushed in Philadelphia just recently. The shootings. That's a change. We didn't see that kind of behavior years ago. So there's kind of a mistrust from some folks about law enforcement. So we strive to give the positive messages out to folks.
I think you do a very good job of that, because I know back in the mid-2000s when we would go over there for the public safety night and everything, I remember that there was just a calm and a laid-back feeling. You didn't feel that the police in Jenkintown felt more like residents with different uniforms. You know, it was different.
Jenkintown is a community where a resident can call the police desk and get referred directly to the police chief about a parking ticket, because she won't talk to anybody else but the police chief. So that's the kind of small town policing that we have. Most places you'll have to go through a sergeant and a lieutenant and God knows who else before you get to the police chief. But they call the station, and if they have a complaint, I'm there. They know how to get a hold of me.
Well, and you either know everybody in town or you know somebody that immediately knows them.
Yes.
So there's no more than 1 degree of separation with anybody. If you had a magic wand or a blank check, what would you do to help your department?
Blank check? I would get the funds to, because we're constantly progressing. And when I say progressing, it's not that we're getting bigger with personnel, because we've progressed to the accreditation level without adding personnel. And we did that through the assistance of the district attorney's office, who help us, private donations. We have a K-9 unit that we have that's funded solely through donations. We've had the K-9 unit for 9 years now. That's funded solely through donations. And they perform a valuable service to the community, not only to Jenkintown, but to other communities when they call us. So if I had a magic wand, I would get the funds, and we have a limited budget, of course. It's a small borough. I would get the funds needed to have us equipped without burdening the tax base.
And I guess my last question for the chief is, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be, and I'm glad you asked me that question, because I want to leave the police department better than when I got there. And I think through our accreditation, just the fact that Jenkintown Borough became an accredited law enforcement agency, I'm most proud of that that success. But it's a whole team of people that got us there. We didn't ask for outside help. It was our own people, everybody working as a team, that got the department accredited. And they're going to continue that after I'm long gone. So I think that's my legacy, is making Jenkintown Police Department one of the best departments in this state. I just want to make it the best I can make it.
I think mission accomplished. I think you've already done that.
I think we're trying hard.
I think you've done that. Thank you for coming. And
Mark, I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. I'm
happy to see you. I want to thank everybody for listening. Check us out on the web, unsung.us. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything for me or you have anything for Chief, I'll make sure they get to them. Stay safe, smart, and sane. See you next week.